Today we survive the wilds and brave deadly animals in Spire's crest, Hildegard. Welcome to Tabletop Gaming Guild. Tabletop Gaming Guild is all about the experiences and memories that playing tabletop games with friends and families can create. Today we're looking at Spires and Hildegard, designed by Gregory Favreau and published by Favreau Games. This game is a choose-your-own-adventure style story deck, in which you're playing through 4 chapters and trying to survive to the end. To begin, you're going to be randomly choosing one of the 3 starter cards and reading through the text on the card. These are going to give you your character card, starting equipment, and your main item that's going to be your objective for the game. 90% of the game is going to be just that. You're going through the deck, it'll give you a little story, and you'll make a decision that'll direct you to a new card, just like any choose your own adventure. Later in the story, some of the decisions will require certain keywords. So you'll look at your items that are tucked under your character and see if you have that keyword. There's also 2 types of challenges you may face throughout the game. So basic challenge will give you a number of bullseyes you need to achieve, an accuracy, which is how many dice you get to roll, and a number of sets, which is how many times you can roll those dice. Sometimes they'll also give you a bonus challenge that can be hitting extra bullseyes or a specific combination that has to be face up on the table at one time. The last thing that these cards will tell you is which sides of the dice are relevant. So what you're going to be trying to do is when you roll these dice, you're going to be trying to form bullseyes, but you can only use faces that are shown on the card. And then you can finesse. So when you finesse, you must lock in at least 1 dice, and then you can re-roll all the other ones. I will then get to roll the wild shot die, and that is 1 set. Now I can repeat that, again rolling 4 dice, for however many sets this challenge allows. At the end, I total up how many bullseyes I've made in all my sets, and determine if I am successful or not, and that'll dictate which card I turn to next. At any point, I could spend some of these skill points to use abilities on the reference card. The other type of challenge is a face-off. In a face-off, you will get a character card and an enemy card. You are going to look at your character card, and the hit accuracy on the character card, not the enemy, is going to determine how many dice you roll. You do not have sets in a face-off. You can keep rolling till one of the 2 of you is knocked out. And just like in the challenge on the enemy card, you're going to have a number of bullseyes to achieve, and then the enemy will have their own hit accuracy, which is how many dice they're going to be rolling against you, and what dice counts against them. So that part of it works the same. You would do your set, see how many times you hit the enemy, and then they get to retaliate after each set. When they retaliate, you'll look at what their hit accuracy is to determine how many dice they roll, and they have to fill the bar below your character from left to right. If they choose to finesse, they must lock in any dice that are potential hits. Enemies do not get to roll wild dice. However, there's 2 additional rules you need to be aware of. If there's a red square on a board, those are places where you can put a block. Blocks can be earned one of 2 ways. You can either spend a potential hit that wasn't used for a bullseye to put a block down, or spend a skill point to get a free block. And what that means is when the enemy rolls the hit, they have to roll the icon shown to remove the block before they can, and then roll the same icon again to be able to actually do the hit. Some spaces have keywords under them, and those are negative effects, and you can use your reference sheet to find out what those do. Once one of the characters is knocked out, You would then read the text relevant to you, whether you won or lost. And that's a basic face-off. Be aware there are a few additional challenges that you're going to face, and it will introduce some new rules, but they're going to revolve around the same basic mechanics. I don't want to get into those, as part of the fun of this game is discovering those little twists. The game goes for 4 chapters. Each chapter takes 30 minutes to an hour, and they're well paced so you can have a nice break between chapters. As for my thoughts on the game, I really did enjoy the story. I played it through in a recorded session you can watch online, and I played it a second time on my own, and the key thing I got from that is almost nothing I saw in the first playthrough showed up again in the second. There are a lot of diverging paths in this game, and it's a very interesting story, and the places where it diverges and reconnects aren't exactly where you would think they would be, so it has a good pacing, interesting story, decisions that actually have an impact. There is definitely a point, like in chapter 3, where it starts funneling back into the main story, but even then, you're approaching it from a different angle, with different experiences, with different equipment, so it plays out very differently. Game mechanics, the basic ones were fine, they worked well. I thought they were pretty fun, and I really enjoyed when it threw in like new mechanics and the little twists. However, it does suffer from the same drawbacks as legacy games do, in that because they don't want to spoil these new mechanics, these twists, the rules for these are on a single card that you're gonna discover within the game. There's no FAQs, so if there's something in it that you're not 100% clear on what the intention was, you basically have to go online to find out how you should be interpreting this. But in reality, you can use your own judgment, and no matter how you interpret the rule, it's not going to have a huge impact on the gameplay. Now, at this point, normally I would tell you whether this is staying in my collection, and that would be a good indication of how much I personally enjoyed it. But because this is a story game, even though I really did enjoy it, it's probably not staying in my collection indefinitely. I'll play it a couple more times, then I'll pass it on to someone else. Most likely Peter, because I think he'll really enjoy this game. Overall, I think it's a great game for anybody who enjoys like choose your own adventure styles or the solo RPGs. With that said, there is an option for a 2-player game, though because most of this game is reading through a story, I don't think that 2-player version is going to be suitable for everybody. I think it's best suited for playing with somebody who would otherwise struggle playing through this on their own, so like mostly young children. That's my thoughts on Spires and Hildegard. I enjoyed it, and I hope you do as well. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and check out our other videos on YouTube and other social media networks.